All right, class. So we're gonna be putting together your train track here today. Not a terribly difficult part, but a lot of dimensions to try to keep track of. So here's kind of where we're gonna go with it. All right. So first off, here's kind of the final approach. Personally, I went with a sketch that's gonna do the main shape of it, extrude that. I added a couple fillets to round out those corners, and then I did another sketch to do the little track portion where the wheel will fit in. All right. So that's the idea. Let's go and get into it. So I'm going to start a new part studio personally here because modeling this one in place doesn't really do much for us. So I'm going to insert a new tab, create part studio. And this will also give me some new planes to work with instead of trying to create new planes. So I think it's just an easier approach. All right, so I'm going to start my sketch right on the top plane here. And if I go back to my drawing, all right, I'm going to kind of center things just so that I can just really do it once and then potentially even mirror it if I do this, efficiently. This might be a potentially faster way. I guess it depends on how we want to play this out. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. The entire track is 12 inches long, and it looks like if I'm just making the box here, the overall height or overall width, I should say, is 3.4. So, 3.4 compared to 12. So I'll come back over here. And now that I'm at top plane, I'm going to rotate it to look at it from the front. And as I said earlier, I'm going to try to center it. So instead of the corner rectangle, I'm going to choose this center point rectangle as an option. So I'll go ahead and drag that out generally to the size we want. I'm going to ballpark it there. And then dimension it, hit dimension, come over this way. This one's 12. And then this side was 3.4, I believe. Let me double check that. Yep. All right. So now that we have that set up, I'm going to go ahead and set up a couple of other tools just so we can have to start with. First off, I'm going to make a construction line coming across this way. Okay, hit the letter Q to turn it into a construction line, or you can hit that right there. Also have one coming across this way. And like I said, you can select it, change it to a construction line. I'm just going to use this to help me mirror some stuff if I want to later, just kind of as needed. Okay. All right. So from here, I'm going to kind of look at the shape that I'm trying to build. So I'm seeing it's kind of a little circular shape. Again, it looks like it's going to be a line first, and then a circle, and then another line. And maybe for this particular case, it might just be easier to just draw it as is. So I'm going to start off with a line here. Okay, and then let's go ahead and do another line on the other side. Okay, I know I want these to be equal, so I'm going to go ahead and use the equal constraint to lock those together. And you know what, while I'm at it, I think I can go ahead and set the distance between them. I'm seeing it. I'm going to do the peg coming out first. So in this case, 0.6. Hopefully it's not too confusing for you. I'm actually going to be, drawing it this way as up. So it'll be kind of backwards, but I think you'll figure it out. All right, so 0.6. Let's go ahead and put that one in. Dimension between here and here. Let's make that 0.6. All right, and I'm noticing right now it's not quite centered. I'm going to go ahead and do that after I make this circle. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the 3-point arc. The arc's going to go from here to here. I'm going to drag this out and roughly leave it there for now. Okay, so at this point, let's go ahead and make this coincident. I'm thinking that this is going to line up to the center. Okay, so that kind of centers that. And then I need the radius of the circle, looks like 0.7. So let's dimension that to 0.7. And hold on 1 second. I got this. I'll pause this for a second. Okay, so at this point, 0.7. And then let's double check also the dimension for that. And it's going to be 1 inch, looks like, from the edge to the center of that circle. Okay, so dimension from here to the edge. Oops, missed the dimension tool. Dimension here to here. That's going to be 1. And I'm already seeing everything is locked to be black, so that is a good sign. All right, and one of the things I'm going to also do here is I notice that this line is now splitting into two parts. So I like to trim this up. So I'm going to trim this line so that all I have is kind of this section like that. Okay, and I did notice it did turn blue a little bit. Let's double check what's happening. Oh, looks like I lost that width by accident. So let's redimension that. So from here to here, this was 3.4. Okay. All right, next up, I need this hole cut out on this side. If I come back on this way, let's kind of see here. That's just for the track section. All right, so to create this hole, I'm noticing the hole on the other side is similar, but it's not quite the exact same, right? I want this hole to be slightly bigger. That's why the radius is 0.75. And then the rest of it, oh, the gap here is 0.65 instead. Right, so I can't exactly copy it, but I still want to try doing something here where I'm going to kind of mirror a few parts. So, for example, I want to mirror this shape. I'm going to see if I can mirror it using this line here to flip it to the other side. And actually, that's not exactly what I want to do. I lied. You know what? I think it'd be easier to redraw this. So let's go and do that real quick since it's really only a couple lines. Make that line there, make another line here. Similar process what we did earlier. I'm going to make sure that those are equal to each other, equal, equal. And then I'll make that 3-point arc coming across like this. Okay, and then like we did earlier, I want to make sure that this is lining up vertically to the middle. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Let's try this one more time. Oh, hold on, I got another question coming in here. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I'm getting a couple questions. Got a class on the side here. So, where were we? We're going to create this hole. All right, so we got, let's go and set up that distance. Distance between here and here was 0.65. And then I wanted, oops, where am I? Over here. Radius now is going to be 0.75. 0.75. And then the only other thing I really need to do is line this up so it's centered. So that's kind of what I was trying to do here with the vertical constraint to the middle. But that's not what I want it to look like. Hold on. Let me do one other lock in. The height here is 1 inch. So from here to here is 1. And now the only other thing that should move is this. I just want to make sure that that lines up. There we go. Okay, so I just lined it up to be centered. All right, so we got our basic shape. I'm going to go and use my trim tool one more time to clear out this section. That way I've got the basic shape of the track and hit the check mark. And now we just need to extrude that to the height. So let's check the height of this thing. Looks like it is about 1 inch. Okay, so let's go ahead and extrude, hit the extrude. The sketch is this entire profile. It's 1 inch already set up, so hit the check mark. All right. Okay, next up, I notice here that there's a little curve on all these edges. So I'm going to use the fillet. You could have done this as a sketch fillet, so made that curve while you were sketching it. I'm going to do it after the fact. So looking at these, I notice these are all radius of 0.19, radius of 0.19. So I'm going to go ahead and add that everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to use the fillet tool. And I want to make sure I'm choosing the edges here. First off, I'm setting that radius to 0.19. The entities are these edges. That edge, over here, this one, and this one. And let's come over here to the top part. This edge, and rotate it around. That edge, this edge, and this edge. And hit the check. And that rounds it all out. Okay, the only other thing I need to do now is add these little grooves, and I'm going to do this on one side and mirror it to the other side since that should save me some time. Okay, so I notice it goes all the way down. I really just need to set up the distances for them. So let's kind of come back here. I'm going to start a new sketch on the top of the train track. Look at it normal. And I'm going to go ahead and use, in this case, the corner rectangle. Make sure it lines up to this edge. Come over here, drops to this edge. And now I just really need to, oh, it got locked to something else here that I don't think I wanted. Here, let me redo that one more time. Okay, so corner rectangle, just want it coincident. Come down here, and I want to make sure that I don't accidentally click on something else so that it turns blue. Okay, so this right now should be blue, and now I need to go back and just figure out those dimensions. Okay, so on one side, I'm seeing it's 0.4 from the edge, and then the other side's 0.75 to the edge. Okay, so dimension from here to here, this should be 0.4. From here to here, 0.75. Notice it's all black already. That's looking good. And I'm going to go ahead and create that mirror line. So hit a line, construction, make sure it's cutting through the middle here like this. And then what I can do is use the mirror tool. I'm going to select this as my mirror line. It says select the entities. It's going to be this line and this line. And now I've got the track on both sides. Hit the check. And I'm going to do an extrude remove. And I'm going to check how far deep it goes. In this case, I can see right here, 0.1875. So extrude, change this to remove. The faces is going to be this, and the depth is 0.1875. Hit enter, get that little preview, and it looks good. So our track is all set up. I'll go through, rename this train track, something like that, to stay organized. I would probably change the Part Studio name as well to the train track, and it should be all set.